Why, hello, everyone. Good afternoon. It's me, Jessica, your health fitness program manager from McLean. And I don't know about you, but I am ready to take a breathing movement break this morning with some yin yoga. Isn't that right, my needy dog? I have a feeling we'll see lots of this needy buddy during class today. We're going to get started in just about 2 or 3 minutes. Gather your props, put on something comfortable. Grab yourself a beverage. Make the space smell nice. Encourage you to have a strap for today's class. Grab your pets. Find snacks for any little people or even big people. So you're being very nasty who need your assistance this morning. And then let them know I need a little bit of peace and quiet. If you want to put on some super relaxing music to help you just find your inner and outer calm, I encourage you to. Music can really be helpful. And we're going to get started in just a couple minutes, a quarter after, in a comfortable seated position. So because we are going to start in that comfortable seated position, if you're feeling frazzled at all, if you're running a minute or so late, that's okay. We're going to have 3 minutes just to breathe to get started before we even begin to come into our stretches. If you want to sit down early, you're welcome to sit down early. I'm going to go find a comfortable shirt to put on. Now, okay, let's make our way to the floor if you are not already there. Okay, and do this. So remember, option if you want to be a little lifted in your seat. In fact, if you don't like sitting on the floor and you just come to the edge of your chair, just making sure that you're not relaxing against the back of the chair so you can find a little bit of lift. Or this is yin. If you want to lean back in your chair, that's okay too. All right, so any sort of comfortable seated position in which you can start to find some stillness. We're going to be here for the first 3 minutes. Oh, oops. I am a great example right now of how, yeah, sometimes it is a little challenging to stop fidgeting. Maybe as you start class, I always find it so amazing. Like I'll be lying in bed, and maybe you notice this too, and you're lying in bed, and it's like, I'm so relaxed. And then when you start to scan your body from head to toe, I find I'm not relaxed at all. I'm extra tense. So take a moment and scan yourself right now. Do you feel still really crunched in your seated position? Because I know at the moment I do. So I'm going to use this prop, lift myself up. Already my hips are a little bit more open. This is a big place where, believe it or recognize it or not, you store a lot of stress. So already just starting to create that openness within your hips can create a little bit more openness in your mind and hopefully help you to slow your breath down. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I'm like covered in pain relieving patches. We've got a little over a minute left here. Really tune into your upper body, what's happening within your face. If you're creating any extra tension between your eyes and eyebrows, in your jaw, in your neck, in your shoulders, in your upper back, in your chest. 1 minute of silent breath and stillness. Here we go. How'd you do? I bet you did amazing. As long as you did your best, whether you were 100% still or whether you found yourself fidgeting the whole time. If you just made that effort, if you tried with all your heart, it's enough. And it only gets easier over time. All right, so next up, we're going to do some nice little neck stretches. Take a moment, take your shoulders, lift them up and back. So your heart is lifted here. Maybe you have your hands on your knees, or if you're a little closer to the floor, hands on the floor, drop one ear to your shoulder. If you have some space to even stretch the opposite fingers towards the floor or press through your hand palm to get a little bit more action. You don't necessarily have to feel the deepest, most intense of stretches here. I just want you to hang out in this next stretch. Pardon me. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. All right, let's go ahead. Bring our chin down to the chest on your exhale. And on your next inhale, bring your ear to the opposite shoulder. Maybe you explore the idea of dropping your other hand a little further towards the floor. If you're actually touching the floor, it can be a lot more supported and walking your hands away. We got 1 minute in our stillness on this side. On your inhale, take a little lift of that chest. On your exhale, drop your chin down to your chest. Squeeze your shoulder blades towards each other. Maybe elbows even come a little closer together behind you. Remember, if your eyes are moving, your mind is moving. So either focus your eyes on one spot, or if you still find yourself feeling any sort of stress, tension, if negative thoughts are floating through your head, close your eyes. Just eliminate any distractions. Focus fully, number one, on your beautiful deep breaths. And number two, on the sensation of stretching that you create today. On your next inhale, lift your head up. Exhale, relax your shoulders down. Inhale, bend your elbows, stretch your fingers all the way up towards the ceiling. Exhale, go ahead, turn in one direction, drop your arms down to the side. One hand behind you comes close to the base of the spine, maybe even fingertips against your back. And the other hand, maybe it's touching your thigh, maybe it's just in the center line. Maybe you're feeling really tight and it's on the knee of the same side of the body. We're taking a little spinal twist. Oh, and you're so lucky. We're going to stay in this spine twist for just about 2 minutes. So work to continue to find that lift of your chest. Make sure you're not collapsing here as you twist. A little draw in from the abdominal core can help you feel supported here. Remember, if your eyes are moving, your mind is moving. So focus on that spot or close your eyes and tune into your thoughts. I know I've been working a lot lately, and I presume most people are working on this too. The idea of releasing negative thoughts. If you're anything like me, times have still just been a little challenging. Life is not back to normal, and on some days, I don't care. And on some days, I care so much. And it can be really frustrating. And I personally am very good at getting stuck in a negative thought loop. So step number one is just to recognize that those thoughts are happening. Are they things that you can control? Probably not. So just recognize that the thought has happened and do your best to let it go. Go ahead, inhale those arms up overhead. Exhale, let's twist to the other side. I think so much of the stress and tension that we're feeling just manifests itself in the body. So really think about using your inhale like a balloon. You're just taking in anything that's on your mind, positive, negative thoughts. And on your exhale, you're letting go of the ones that don't serve you. What is hanging heavy on your head or your heart right now? And use your next exhale as slow as you can to just blow it away, like you're trying to actually blow like the petals off of a daffodil, dandelion, those little dandelion puffs. You have to like actually put some effort into the exhale to make them blow away. So I want you to think about your troubles blowing away. And I'm not saying you need to be an irresponsible person who ignores them, but I know that you can be the amazing person who just does your best today. That you can do at least one thing that you're proud of. Maybe it's this, maybe it's coming to this class. Go ahead, inhale those arms back up overhead and exhale. Relax your arms down by your side. We're going to come off of our props. Excuse me, Uncle Buck. Please get out of my way. And into tabletop, where we got a little bit of a hip opener before we come on back to those shoulders. So either right here in tabletop or lifting yourself up, we're just going to bring one foot forward. You can stay pretty square if you want to and still open your hips. So let's be gentle and do that today. So I've got my feet at about a 90-90. We're going to feel the hip opening on this knee, the hip that's down on the floor by squeezing your glute, pressing your knee and your shin down towards the floor. Just a teeny little forward press. Do you feel some engagement? A little opening of this hip flexor, maybe a nice little stretch happening for this quad as well. And if you want to, you can release yourself down to the floor, especially if it's too intense. I think coming down to the floor makes you lose a little bit of this hip opener. Spend one more minute right here. So you're really pressing that knee, that shin, even maybe the tops of your toenails into the floor to help find that support, that stability. Remember, it's normal if you start to shake or tremble at all through this class. You're just creating openings of your body, so enjoy it. I don't trust you, Uncle Buck. What are you doing? So next, we're going to turn this hip opener into a hamstring stretch. So you might want to wiggle your front foot a little further forward as you start to send your glute back towards your heel. You can stay really lifted here in this hip opener. I'm sorry, hamstring stretch if that's what works for you. You can come down a little bit further. Maybe you keep your toe on the floor. Maybe your toe lifts and flex back to your face and your calf gets a little bit more in the picture. Just keep breathing. We've got a little over a minute here. So check in, take that total body scan, head to toe. Notice if you are bringing any extra tension to the shoulders. Maybe you need to relax your head down to the floor for your final minute here. Find that relax and release in the upper body. Focus on the stretch that's happening on the back of your straightened front leg for this last minute. Continue thinking about using that exhale to not just release your negative thoughts, because now it's been a couple of minutes, you're a master at that. But as those negative thoughts release, either actually feeling or what would it feel like if those tense muscle groups where you hold those feelings also released. Awesome. Let's lift ourselves back up. So start by shifting the weight forward, come into that gentle hip opener for just another second, and then bring those two knees side by side. Let's take a grounding moment. So just sitting back towards your heels. Bring that lift back to your chest. Heart is nice and tall. Belly is gently engaged just so your back feels good. Take two more breaths here, and then we'll come back into that 90-90 hip opener. All right, so meet me here once your two breaths have ended. So I'm still not going for a very big hip opener, even though it feels really big. I'm just not exaggerating the stretch all that much. So front heel is stacked right underneath of the knee. I know the dog is blocking the view. And I'm pressing down through the knee that's on the floor. Already starting with that press down, starts to find that little squeeze of the glutes. Relax your upper body. Find a place to relax your eyes. Enjoy any shaking or trembling. Another reason I like to close my eyes in this class is because sometimes I just don't want to see my space. Seeing the area around me starts to make me think of other things that I want to do or should be doing. And then that can lead to negative thoughts again. But with your eyes closed, the only thing you have to focus on right now is your breath and the way that your body feels. And everything else will be there for you when your eyes open. So if you have not tried closing your eyes yet, we got 1 more minute here in this hip opener. You know you can do it, so give it a try. And on your exhale, start to send your glute back towards your heels, coming into that hamstring stretch. You can walk, wiggle your front leg forward. We got 2 minutes here, so as you come into the stretch, asking yourself how your body feels. To create that relaxation in your upper body, notice if you have any extra tension in your neck, in your shoulders, trying to hold your head up. And if you did, relax your head down. How you doing with those eyes closed? I know sometimes eyes closed can make balance more of a challenge, but I like to imagine that if I could see you, that you're doing your best. You're giving yourself grace and patience. Enjoy 2 more breaths here. And on that second exhale, you'll take your time and carefully start to come forward back into that hip opener. And then bring those 2 knees together once again. Take a grounding moment, come on off of those hands, and have your prop nearby. I'm going to turn at an angle here. All right. Slow down your breath, check in with yourself. We're just about halfway through class. Time's flying by. How does your body feel? Does it feel any different than when we started? What about your breath? Have you been able to relax your mind yet? Any and all answers are okay. All right, so next we're going to use our strap. Oh, almost. Next we're going to get a big shoulder strap and shoulder stretch and then use the strap. So go ahead, inhale those arms all the way open, squeeze your shoulder blades together. Work to bring the backs of your fingers closer to each other and notice if you really arch that back. So draw that belly in, belly button back to spine. And then we're going to cross one arm over to come into a gentle beginner shoulder stretch. If you want, you can turn and look over your shoulder. Make sure you're not applying any pressure directly on the elbow. Spending just about 1 minute here, so we're halfway through. If you're finding any discomfort from this kneeling position, you can always press yourself up into a lifted kneeling position, or for a little more relaxation, just come into the seated stretch of your choice. All right, inhale those arms all the way open again. And then exhale, opposite shoulder stretch. Just find the depth that feels good for you today. And if it feels good, you can look over your shoulder. Make sure you're not overarching your back here. So drawing belly button back towards spine, knitting those lower ribs in particular together, making sure your rib cage is not flaring out. You're already halfway. On your next inhale, open those arms nice and wide, and then exhale, relax them down by your side. Take a moment in your stillness. Don't move a muscle. One big breath. All right, now feel free to just like shake it out a little bit. Oof. Okay, I'm going to change my seated position just for maximum comfort. Next up, we've got eagle. Yay. So we're focusing really just on the stretches of the shoulders. Coming up next, you got a couple different choices for your eagle. If you're really feeling any discomfort in your shoulder, bringing your hands palms together is going to be very hard. So work to find as deep of a pressure that you can by stacking your elbows on top of each other, and maybe you just grab hold of your opposite shoulder. Try not to collapse that chest down. So inhale, lift your chest. And next, inhale, knit that rib cage together so your core is nice and tight. Or you're lifting those elbows up a little bit more in front of your face for some more activation of that upper body. We got just about 1 more minute from right here. So be the best eagle that you can be. Check in with that lower back. Notice if you brought a lot of rounding or flexion to it. Probably better to bring a little bit of rounding to it as opposed to stressing your back by pushing that chest forward. Inhale, lift from your head crown. Exhale, relax your arms down by your side. Take a moment, inhale them all the way up overhead. And then exhale, we're going to cross the opposite elbow underneath. See what you can do. Both sides of the body are not the same, so maybe it feels good to come a little bit more into an actual eagle arm this time. Maybe you're just being good to yourself, but really work on applying this pressure of the top elbow into the lower elbow crease. And see if you can find that lift of your heart, that knit of that rib cage back together. You got just over 1 full minute right here. Amazing. Inhale, lift from your head crown. Exhale, relax your arms down. Inhale, bring them up. Exhale, relax them by your side or in your lap. Let's take a moment with that chest lifted, shoulders rolled down and back, shoulder blades squeezed towards each other like you're pinching a pencil. Knit that rib cage in. Let's take 1 minute just back to our breath, back to our stillness. Great. Let's bring a little relaxation to the back for a moment. So while you're right here in your seated position, tuck your chin towards your chest. Fingertips start to, especially if you're seated cross-legged, but you could do the same thing for kneeling. We're just coming to a cat position. Really applying a little bit of pressure of the palms of my hands against my knees to help activate that upper back. And as you change your breath or when you're ready, go ahead, pull it through. Take a moment here in cow. So finding just a teeny bit of stillness in each direction, one more time each way. All right, we got 2 more big shoulder openers to go. Next up, we're going to use our strap. We've got some cow face pose. So hold on to your strap. I'm going to do my more challenge arm first. You can start with whichever arm you would want to. We're going to use a prop. Inhale, one arm all the way up, and then exhale. Bring your hand behind your head. And then the opposite hand, oh my God, I'm so tight, is going to reach for your prop. Maybe you can have that. I'll do my good arm first. Maybe you can have your bicep close to your face. Maybe you're like me and you're feeling so tight on the other side that that's just not a possibility yet. I want you to do your best. I want you to find some sort of opening on this side of the body that you can stick with. Working towards the idea of your elbow towards the ceiling and bringing your two hands together. Maybe you take a little bit more of a crawl of your other hand up your back while your lifted hand stays a little low. We got 1 more minute right here. Check back in with your thoughts, especially if this is a challenging stretch. It's okay for it to be a challenging stretch. Just because it's not easy doesn't mean that you're any less amazing. I know so frequently, especially with yoga, if you can't do something, it's like, no, I'm a failure. You're not a failure. All that matters is that you try. Awesome. Let's carefully release. So the hand that's behind your back, crawling up the strap, let that go first. You can relax your strap out of your hand. Inhale the opposite arm all the way up towards the ceiling. Let's take a gentle little side body stretch here too. Inhale back up. And exhale, relax your hand down. Take a moment in your stillness. Some of these shoulder stretches you really feel immediately. Maybe your shoulders are talking to you and saying nasty things. I hope not. I hope your shoulders are whispering, thank you so much. I love you. For taking that nice gentle hold and making me feel good. Let's get the other side now. So strapping your hands, inhale your arm up overhead, bend that elbow. I'm bringing my hand palm just about to the base of my neck, not really applying any pressure though. And then reach behind with your opposite hand. Grab hold of the strap. I don't have the same range of motion here, and that's okay, but I can still bring my hand behind me even if it's much lower. It's not all or nothing. It's what your body can do today. And whatever you can do today, showing up is the start. It's enough. It's the intention. It's changing the way that you think about things. It sounds so silly, but really, if you believe it, you can achieve it. You just got to make that plan for yourself, and showing up is part of the plan. It's the biggest part, honestly. We got just a couple breaths left right here. And as you're ready, release your hand that's crawling up the strap. Release the strap. Inhale the opposite arm up towards the ceiling. Find that nice little side body stretch. Really try and touch the ceiling. Press your sit bones to the floor. One more big inhale, lift it, reach. Wow, and exhale. Relax that arm down. All right, shake it out for just a moment. Shake out, release any tension. We'll come back to just a minute of stillness now and breath. Check in with yourself again. Does that upper body feel any lighter? Is it a little easier, even if it's just a hint, to find some stillness in this upright seated position? I want to apologize if your eyes have been open because I know I've found it very hard to stay still today. It's definitely getting easier as class is moving forward. I wish we had twice as much time as we did. Imagine how still we could be at the end. But we've got just under 10 awesome minutes left to work together. So let's do one more big opening of the chest and shoulders with a little bit of reverse prayer. We're going to turn around, and I'm going to admit that my reverse prayer is not going to be its most amazing self today, but that's okay. I know it'll get back to it. All right, so we're working towards the idea of bringing our hands together behind us. If you know that clasping your hands together is not going to happen, keep your strap nearby because you can always just hold on to your strap. Start by bringing the backs of your fingers towards your low back and then do your best to start to trace them up. Turn your hands palms. Oh, I should bring a timer. Turn your hands palms towards each other. Start to find that tent of your fingers. Maybe you can't. Maybe you're just interlacing your fingers. Maybe you're just holding on to that strap. But working to come into reverse prayer pose. It's a big stretch on the front of those shoulders. We're going to spend 1 full minute there. Give you another breath or two to get into it. Wherever you are, find your stillness, find something you can hold. Take that gentle lift of your chest. Make sure you're still breathing deeply. And here we go. Wherever your most tense spot is, imagine using your inhale, sending that breath to find it. And that your exhale is making it a little bit lighter, taking the stress away. You don't have to go any deeper. You can work to feel a little bit more relaxed exactly where you are. And if you happen to feel a little bit more stressed, if the stretch starts to become uncomfortable, just gently come out. We got a few more breaths here to create that stillness. You did it. Carefully change. Slowly start to release your hands, bring them down towards the floor. Let's come on onto all fours. Give yourself a couple cat-cows here. Move with intention, slowly, carefully. Take that rounding of your back because I know that you probably just had a little bit of arching of that back. Maybe you shimmy a little more through your shoulders today. Maybe you bring that stretch more through your hips, which might feel tight. Create the movement that feels good for you. Then open your knees nice and wide. Send your glutes back towards your heels. Walk your hands forward. Relax your head down towards the floor. You can take a generous bend of your elbows. You can bend at the elbows and bring your hands to your neck for a little bit more of a tricep stretch. Just find what feels good. We'll take a moment here. Bring your heart rates down one more time. Relaxing in child's pose. Really send your breath to the back side of the body. Notice your rib cage expanding, contracting.
enjoy one more slow breath here, and then we'll carefully turn around and lay down on our backs so we can finish with a nice savasana. Take your time making your way into your final savasana. Don't skip it though. We're going to spend 3 amazing minutes here together in complete silence. I'll bring the silence. Can you bring the stillness? Let's find out right now. Awesome job. You are welcome and even encouraged to stay here in this final savasana for as long as feels right for you. If you would like to close out class together, you can also make your way to a seated position right now. When you get there, let's inhale our arms all the way up overhead. Bring your hands palms together and then down to heart center with your thumbs touching your chest, sternum, and namaskar. I hope that you feel so much better, even just a hint better, honestly. I hope you feel better than when we started class. I hope you're proud of yourself for coming. May this class have helped you to create a little bit more openness in your body, your mind, and your soul. If you have any questions or concerns about anything I said or we did, I know you'll reach out. So we see each other again. Think good thoughts.
Speak good words, eat good foods, do good deeds, and take the time to nourish yourself from the inside out. Thank you so much for coming today. This is my favorite class of the week. I'm so happy to be able to bring it to you. Please know that the light within me honors sees and is so thankful for the light within you. It makes me so happy when y'all tell me that you took this class and you enjoyed it. So I hope you'll reach out. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste.